Good evening, I'm Tony May. Welcome to our show. First tonight, you're going to meet a Delray doctor who has created an interesting approach to helping those in recovery from addictions. It includes a casual cafe and a new partner called a recovery coach. Here's our community perspective.
Once the open sign is lit in the front window of Sober Cafe, the scene comes to life. A mixed crowd, including tattooed kids sitting side by side with clean-cut, preppy ones. Inside, a DJ is spinning the latest tracks, while in the back room, a line forms for a glass of fresh juice or hot coffee. The cafe, which opened its doors a year ago, is the brainchild of Philadelphia native Dr. Harold Jonas. And while it may seem like a typical nightclub scene, one thing is for sure: alcohol is not the inspiration for fun at this spot.
It's a very warm, good vibe for people to come. I have a history of working with people in the theater community, so it was always about creativity and accessing an area that people in recovery don't often go to. But they act out crazy. Often they do it without drugs, so in my world, let's get them to do the same thing without the chemicals. They come and spin and do rap and freestyle, and we just have a good time.
People here are alive, they enjoy life, they talk, they socialize, and all of it's without drugs and alcohol. And I see a lot of young kids, and they're just, the activity and the energy is incredible. There's entertainment in the evening, and it's an outlet for artists, and we have open mic night and karaoke night.
People sit here in the yard and congregate till 11:30, 12, 1 o'clock, pretty regularly. There's a support piece, even just being here physically, that helps hold people. The rule of thumb is if people want to use drugs, they're going to use drugs wherever they're at, and they're going to act according to the people who they hang around with. So if they hang around the periphery or the edge of people who are not sure if they want to make that change, then chances are real good that can go either way at any time. The advantage is, of course, that the sheer numbers of people kind of hold us all together in terms of some accountability.
Dr. Jonas arrived in Delray in the 1980s to beat his heroin addiction through a methadone program. He says that after attending a few centers in the area, he felt an integral part of the recovery process was missing. There seemed to be a lack of support groups available for patients who were transitioning out of rehab into halfway houses and left on their own.
I wound up in a halfway house situation and had difficulty abiding by all the rules they had set in place, because here I was 20 years with no rules at all. So I, didn't adhere to all of that. So social support was one of the things that worked the most effectively for me. And throughout the years of working with people in recovery and working as a professional in the industry, I find that people that work on and get social support for whatever changes they're trying to make are the ones who are most successful.
The answer, according to Jonas, is in a new concept, which he's calling recovery coaching. Every week, he opens the doors to his Sober Cafe, and with partner Jeannie Saros, teaches clients how to help others going through recovery without acting as a professional counselor.
Sponsor is invested in the 12 steps and guiding somebody through the principles of recovery, where a coach is here to help you with your relationship issues or your financial difficulties. Not a sponsor's job, but a coach's job. Let me get you to consumer credit counseling. Let me get you to an attorney that works pro bono. Let me tap you into the resources that are readily available.
You need to always keep a visual that what we're trying to do is balance in the areas that need the most work.
It's like a life coach, which is a universal profession that's accepted, but now taking those same skill sets and using them for people with recovery issues.
What's different is we look at the whole person. We don't look at their parts. We don't look at the disease. We look at what's well with them. And what we try to do is capitalize on their strengths and their assets as opposed to focus on their sickness and pathology.
I'm willing to take a look at it more for them and consequences than for myself.
When you're in rehab, you learn a little bit about the steps. You learn about the disease. You don't learn how to live on a day-to-day basis.
Marianne Ciccarelli has been sober for more than a decade. She says that the recovery coaching classes have helped her deal with everyday life situations.
It's a tool of spiritual. It's a tool of taking care of myself health-wise. learning to love and to be compassionate, to have a conscience. It's everything that I would guess most normal people, if there are any, do on a daily basis.
We're giving these people hope and also something to do to help back into the community.
I find that people that share openly and comfortably where they can be themselves in an environment like this, then chances are real good that they might make it through a very critical time.
To look more at this unique recovery, I am joined by Dr. Harold Jonas from Sober.com. Welcome.
Thank you.
Now, we saw in the story the kind of aspect of recovery coaching. But here's another aspect, bringing technology into recovery, which is definitely a new millennium thing.
Well, now that you mentioned the technology aspect, let's say in 2004, I designed a clinical program called Sober Systems. And it was to implement technology and have people be able to access mutual social support and clinical tools through the internet 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
So is that like I'm going into a chat room with other people in recovery all over the country? What does that mean exactly?
Well, it's universal. The internet's universal, so it's more sophisticated than just a chat room. It's form-based as well as clinical tools where you as, say, a therapist could actually interact with your client on the internet. So it's interactive clinical tools.
And is that what eventually became what is today Sober.com? Or how does, what is Sober.com then?
Well, Sober.com is a marketing vehicle for the industry, so people like yourself in the situation you described prior to going on the air, people can find resources for people that need help.
Okay.
So it's a marketing vehicle so the industry can advertise their products and services to people seeking that help.
Okay.
Sober Systems grew out of that. As a licensed professional, I saw that there was a need economically and access-wise for people to be able to get more services economically, so to speak, as well as access-wise availability.
Okay.
So the internet became the best vehicle.
So I'm a mom and I have a teenager struggling with alcohol dependency. I can go on Sober Systems, say, and kind of get a therapist opinion, kind of get some basics, or, describe how that would work in that situation.
If you're a mom and you want to get mutual support or information or education, you can go into Sober Systems and log in, and it's free, and it's supported by the advertising revenue that we generate through Sober.com.
Okay.
So we pay people to be online to provide that support and education and guidance.
Okay.
Then you would be able to go into Sober.com, the directory, think electronic yellow pages.
Okay, and it's all recovery related.
Correct. So you can go shopping for the best clinical and financial fit. That's the most important thing today, is that you get one shot often at it economically. So you want to get the best fit that you can.
And I want to ask you about economically because, in my opinion, having done stories and had, friends and family dealing with this, it is a big business. The recovery business is a business, don't you think, these days?
It's over $1 billion a year in generated revenue.
Wow. Just
here in Palm Beach County, I'm part of a housing coalition that we have for recovering houses, and we estimate that we bring in over $10 million in terms of revenue that's produced and that we put back into the community, and that's just Palm Beach County. So there's over 2,000 beds available here, so all those people are paying rent as well as staying drug-free as a result of what the operators do and working in the community. So it is a big business, but yet it's a big social health problem, most importantly, that needs to be addressed in new and creative ways all the time.
Well, that's what I was going to speak to you about, new and creative ways to address it. Because our world is so different now than 20 years ago, is the AA type of approach still going to work, or do you need this multifaceted, approach to any kind of addiction?
Even as an expert, I can't say that you need this. AA, as the phenomenon worldwide, still works incredibly effective for most people. This is an adjunct, not a replacement. So sober coaching, recovery coaching, sponsorship, meetings, abstinence is most effective all combined. This would help people and accelerate the process as opposed to having people relapse. So we're trying to prevent recidivism.
Well, that's my question. Preventing recidivism, is it up to the person or up to the community as a whole, in your opinion?
Well, it's both. I mean, the choice to use chemicals is always going to lie with the person, and there's a lot of factors that go into that choice. If you look at coaching, and we got some feedback after one of the movie stars most recently got arrested, she has a coach. Now, that coach is not responsible for her behavior. She's an adult and she's going to make her own decisions. But the reflection on that is such that, oh, well, that whole paradigm shift doesn't work. It's a joke. when in fact that coach may have kept her from dying. So we don't know.
Right.
We only know what's reported.
Right.
So it could have been incredibly effective that it contained the episode, because using is a part of people who are addicted, not unlike people who have diabetes who will eat chocolate cake and relapse. So it's a medical model, and it's a progressive illness.
Well, thank you. It sounds like a great tool. I haven't tried it, but from everything you say, so we wish you the best of luck at Sober.com. Thank you so much.
Thank you for your time.